So part of this lifestyle thing is us challenging ourselves to do things to an extent of our comfort level. Um, I do work on vehicles. I think I said that I enjoy maintaining them. I don't build hot rods. Well, I don't build drag vehicles, but like I said, maintain. So today I got the E92. I wouldn't say a common problem, but it's more preventative because they supposedly have connecting rod bearing issues. And so I'm going to be tackling the rod bearing. So just taking the oil pan off and just replacing those. When I get them out, we'll see the condition of them compared to the new ones. I won't be videoing the whole process, but just to tell you a few things. So I got my engine support here because I'm going to have to lower the K member, lower the K member from under the engine, and this is going to keep the engine up high and not allow it to drop. Pretty much, as you can see, got the front wheels off, and I've heard of some people doing this heard of some people doing this 8-10 hours, but hey, just take you along for the ride and give you an update whenever I get done with stuff. All right, let's go. All right, so it's day 2. I think I'm in like the 3rd, 4th hour of this. I'm sort of at a standstill now because I can't find my 1/2-inch drive socket in order to loose the rod bolts. So I might call it a night, go back to the store tomorrow. But so far it's been a fairly easy job. I can't complain. Anyway, 1 second. As you can see, I got the subframe dropped here. You can see the oil pan. And you can see where I have it dropped and I worked. I would do a DIY type video, but there are plenty of those on YouTube, so more to come. So, got all the rod bearings changed out. These are the ones that came out of the car. As you can see, different variances of wear. I know on the center one you can't really tell when I zoom down some more. Basically, these are all the top, and then all the bottoms. Now it's the point of buttoning back up. We'll see. All right, so the final moments of this rod bearing change on this E92, which I am happy about, for this to be over with. It's definitely been a learning experience. I can't really call it difficult. This has been probably the easiest, major job I've done. So, pour the oil in it. Managed to find a shop that had oil in stock, and we'll go from there. So this car has 99,000 miles on it. It's pretty much all stock. Usually people are hesitant to get, ones with high miles because, people have a tendency to just, dump these whenever it gets time for, or it, 99,000, 100,000 miles is when you typically want to do rod bearings on them for what they say. But, nah, I wasn't running from that. I'm pretty versed with working on vehicles, and this is no different. This this has been the easiest car I've ever worked on. Of course, I just did the rod bearings. I did a DCT service. When I first got the car, I did change the oil in it. And then I did some other stuff to it as well. But out of every vehicle that I've had, I have never like busted a knuckle, cut myself, and I've done some major jobs on this thing. And the same thing goes for my Honda. Whereas, with my Camaro, that was a disaster. That F-body, and all F-body Camaros aren't bad, but that LS body style that people praise so much, nah, that ain't me, homie. Those things are junk. I have to explain in another video. Well, actually, I got time now. I can explain some of it. So I got that Camaro. It was Sebring silver, I believe, and it got repainted, so it had some type of metallic in it. Actually, it was a nice looking car. But when I first got the car, it did have some issues and some problems. And some of those I did work out, like getting the computer recalibrated, because it needed to be tuned badly, transmission-wise and engine-wise. What else did it need? That might be it. The tuning. I did put a fast 92mm intake on it. The car had, when I bought it, it came with something. It came with 410 gears. It came with the Yank PT. It said 4,000, but it was more like a 4,400. What else? The intake is what I put on it. The tune. It had a little bit of suspension work, nothing out of the ordinary. It was just a regular plain Jane Camaro. Oh yeah, I know what problem it had, and I didn't realize this until I put a new engine in it. But there was a throttle issue where we never, and I didn't realize it, but the car was never going wide open throttle. And anyway, the car was good, but it just wasn't me. I wanted to keep trying to modify it. For one, that's a very competitive community to own one of those. And it seemed like no matter what you do, people are always going to try to keep up with you. Let's see here. You have to see how to read this, because there aren't any markings. But what was I saying? Yes, that's a very competitive community. And so no matter what you think you do to get ahead, there's always going to be someone that hears about what you're doing, and they're going to try to, be right there doing what you're doing. But that wasn't frustrating because, hey, you keep your mouth shut, people don't know what you're doing. But even then, everyone has something going on in the background. I don't care how secretive they're trying to be with, the competitive racing, which I'm not much of a racer anyway. I just like having nice cars and having, a good time and a good experience. And that's what that was, an experience. But anyway, that 5.7, it ended up having some damage in it that I didn't know about when I got the car. Basically, cam lobes were messed up And let's see, so ripped it apart, and upon ripping it apart, I was going to run the 5.7 again, but I let it sit. And I thought I drained all the water out of the block. Well, actually, deck's cool. And when I came back to it, I guess there was water. It was so hot where the block was sitting. There was still some water in the bottom of it. And on hot days, I guess, you know how, things have a tendency to boil up on really hot days where the car was. And so it poured over into the cylinder. And it wore through the cylinder walls. And anyway, that's where the rabbit hole started. And well, I think at the end of the day, I ended up getting a Texas Speed 427 block for it. And let's see. LS7 heads, the Texas Speed spec. I had an LS7 intake that was ported. I still rock with the 4060. Enough people were riding with those where it, pretty much convinced me. I got a custom spec cam. But anyway, I did all of that stuff, and the car just kept having issues over and over and over again. I could never get it right. And it seemed like every time I would be like, okay, this is it. More problems. More problems. And so I got frustrated and ended up selling it. And I don't know if you could just attune that to just a rare case, but my experience with LS anything, as much people that gives them praise, I had a GTO, and of course that F-body, which was supposed to be better than the GTO, and it was just a horrible experience. So you won't dare see me with an F-body ever again, or any LS for that matter. I'm gonna stick with stuff that's for me simple to work on. And even with the F-body, every time I would open up the hood and work on it, scratch, busted knuckle, bleeding somewhere, got my skin ripped off, doing something before. So just a bad taste for me. And I'm not saying that's everyone's experience, but it was definitely mine. Definitely mine. All right. Guess this is about to be a moment of truth for all of this. Let me grab the key. Start up. It's all good.